when we come to Athens, we better be rocking. And I don't doubt Morris Hall for a second, but just know what's on the line. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I think we're known to go back to back last time I checked.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. Hey, listen, the Morris Hall tailgate would never go 7-5. I can tell you that right.
Welcome to My God Up Podcast. I'm Jim Wood. In this episode, John Powell and I are joined by Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. We talk about what Chris has going on this season, his view of the Dogs, an outlook for the season ahead, and we answer a few questions from you, our listeners. As always, remember to check out the newly redesigned MyGottaPodcast.com to see our latest merch. And you can follow us on social media at MyGottaPodcast. Finally, if you need help with your website or your online presence, head over to workingwebmedia.com/dogs. Now, let's join the conversation in progress. All right, well, 2 weeks in a row with an episode in the off season, pretty good for us. So back with a guest again. So we got Chris Phillips is in from SEC Unfiltered. Chris, welcome to My God Podcast. Happy to have you.
Yeah, man, happy to be here. I appreciate y'all having me. I've actually got on the desk right next to me a little special feature, if you will, for the occasion.
Oh, nice.
Oh, baby. Yeah,
That looks like a Dwight special.
Yeah, this is Dwight. Shout out to our guy Dwight. Shout out to Morris Hall Tailgate. Shout out to Georgia fans everywhere, man. Yeah, absolutely excited to get back to Athens. Excited to chat with y'all. And man, we're less than a month. I mean, the pads probably this weekend. I think most SEC teams will put the pads on. They'll be popping, and it kind of feels like now that we've actually got football on the field, like football season has officially begun. This is the preseason, but we have actually gotten into football season, and I'm giddy about it. Really excited to see what Georgia's going to be this year. And like I said, guys, I really appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah, man.
Talking season is almost over.
Hey, almost, but John, we got a lot of content still to get out, so don't rush it away too quick. We got a lot of stuff we're doing over the next month or so.
It's a fair point. I love the early Morris Hall shout out as well. We were, there's always the podcast before the podcast. We were talking about that. You made it out to Morris Hall last year. I think John and I somehow both managed to miss you. John, that was a game you didn't make it to. I was there, but had walked away or something and missed it. So I don't know. Give us your recap of Morris Hall. I know, and there's a video. Everyone can go watch the video. I remember Morris Hall was in your featured tailgates. So
yeah, we dropped the vlog. Yeah, we dropped the vlog every week last season. We'll do that again this season. We're on the road, so Morris Hall will be featured in great length again. There's no doubt. Yeah, shout out to John and Dwight and all those guys for being so welcoming, and they've been such great friends to me. But I mean, man, it was electric. I was there all day. I mean, the spread was incredible. There was enough liquor to last year for an eternity, it felt like. And it was interesting because I was so accustomed. It was late in the season, right? So I'll admit I was starting to we had a long Friday night in Athens. Long Friday night. Feeling it a little bit. But I was
how did your Friday night end? Every good night in Athens ends at Little Italy.
I did catch the Uber home. Like nothing got out of hand or anything. But my good buddy Graham Coffee, shout out to him. They had the event over there, Dog Central, that I believe with Home Field over at Creature Comforts.
Yeah.
So they had the events over there. So we started there. We started at the brewery. That was a lot of fun, and then just kind of wandered around downtown Athens. I made waves that night, I recall specifically, because I went on Twitter and said that Athens is the best college town in America, and you just can't prove me otherwise. And a lot of other fan bases in the SEC that had fun with that, but I stand by that. The best college town in the country. Yes, I mean, we had a good time. Went to some spots. That was the first time I was out in Athens in a very, very, very long time, literally like in 10 years. So. Stop by Dooley's, stop by Buddha Bar, hit some of the spots. And then, got after it on Saturday. But it's funny because, again, I was so used to Central Time at that point because I was going to so many games at Central Time. Then you had this 7:30 Eastern kickoff. And I just remember sitting there and it's like 5 o'clock. And I'm like, God, man, like this day is feeling so long and I'm so hungover. But we had a great time. Again, everybody at Morris Hall was awesome. It was just a big party and a bunch of dogs. And Heck, Thomas Rhett stopped by. That was really random.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
that was that game.
Yeah, it was that game that he stopped by, so that was really cool. And no,
He was
man,
wearing his
it's great
Tennessee.
people.
Was he
Yeah,
wearing the Tennessee
yeah, he
overalls?
was wearing the overalls.
That's
I mean,
right.
he said he lost a bet.
Yeah.
So no, it was like I said, man. It's the people that make the difference. I say that about everywhere I go, but certainly Morris Hall. I mean, it's without everybody there, and it's just a great crowd, great community. So I can't wait to run it back with them and tailgated with Morris Hall in Atlanta for the SEC title. That was really cool. So
Yeah.
doesn't matter the location, man. Morris Hall just they throw it down. And oh, by the way, guys, I need to mention this for any Morris Hall folks out there that are listening. We're going to be running it back, our SEC Unfiltered Tour superlatives, right? Morris Hall won best tailgate last year.
Mm.
The field is open going into kick. The field is open. So if Morris Hall, just to put the challenge out there, if Morris Hall wants to keep that trophy for a second year, when we come to Athens, we better be rocking. And I don't doubt Morris Hall for a second, but just know what's on the line. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I think we're known to go back to back. Last time I checked.
Yeah. There you go. Hey, listen, the Morris Hall tailgate would never go 7-5. I can tell you that right. Never.
So
Chris,
true.
speaking of tailgate, like what is your like? I mean, since you've gone around to the SEC and visited a lot of tailgate, like what's your go-to tailgate fare and cocktail for that matter?
Ooh, that's a good question. So my go-to drink really does vary on the occasion. Like at home, I love like a bourbon or a whiskey neat. I'm absolutely that guy. I got some Blantons right now at the crib. Like that. That's some Woodford. I mean, I love whiskey neat at home. When I go out and about, like this is going to the bars or whatever, I try to keep it a little bit lighter. So I'll go like tequila soda. I do like some tequila, love some margaritas, but I'll go like tequila soda. And then I'll just drink beer just on occasion. So, I mean, at a tailgate, I guess it kind of depends. I mean, typically I'm probably, especially if we're going to talk early in the season, and wink, wink, the game we're going to go to for Georgia is going to be early in the season.
Marshall,
Yeah, it's definitely going to be early in the season.
big game.
Yeah, pretty big game. So it'll be pretty hot, right? So I'll probably stay away from the whiskey on game day. So I don't know. It'll be, I don't know. Probably start it off with a couple beers, then we'll probably switch over to if they got tequila or vodka, something, kind of keep it light. But I mean, I'm equal opportunity when it comes to drink. Whatever you got, if you got a special concoction, like
I was just about to
when you
say.
go to Tuscaloosa, you got to get the Yellow Hammer. That's their drink, right? So like that's a special thing. So if y'all got any concoctions y'all want to cook up, if there's some certain Athens signature drink, I'm more than happy to try it. But yeah, it just kind of depends on the occasion. You go down to Oxford, you got to make sure you keep your pinky up, like stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean it's but I'm equal opportunity with that stuff. There's not many drinks I won't have. We'll put it that way.
I think the Athens one would be probably just good cold beer, Jim.
Yeah.
Listen, a good cold beer ain't never lost to nobody. It's undefeated. So.
Yeah.
Especially on a hot day. Again, early in the season, that might be the go-to.
And now you can have them in Sanford Stadium, which I'm still having to get used to. But
Is this the first year?
No, they had it. I'm still
okay.
not used to it being a thing.
Yeah. Them dogs are already barking. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I felt like I didn't really need it, but that was our joke last year. Last year was the first year, and so the preseason thing was like, are we even have any or whatever? And like, I mean, yeah, but
Dude, if y'all don't mind me telling this story too, so random, I just thought of because I obviously was in the stadium last year for the Tennessee game. Did y'all happen to y'all maybe not have seen this, and I don't know if any Georgia fans saw this. Who I got to sit next to? I got to sit next to, and I forget his name, and I hate that. Y'all will know who I'm talking about. It's the guy they featured on game day that paints his head.
Oh yeah.
I literally sat next to him. He's all over the vlog. I was like, how random is this?
Mike Ward's son?
Next to this guy. Yeah. How cool is that? I was like, this is awesome. This dude's a legend.
Yeah, that's been going on long time through generations. Yeah.
I was like, dude, this is incredible. Got a picture with him after the game. I was like, dude, you're the man.
They tailgate not far from Hug Dog, JP, by the way.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was totally unplanned.
Yeah.
Just
I'm trying to think
circumstance.
So I had someone that I think she works for Georgia, and she sold me a ticket. But I mean, yeah, I would have never known who I was sitting next to. Like that's how I got my ticket. And yeah, just totally random. So that was That was really cool. Yeah, it was really, really cool.
Yeah,
Got
that's
it.
awesome. Yeah, he is also Mike Woods, by the way. JP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I couldn't remember his name.
yeah, yeah. No, that's funny. That's funny. When was the last time you had been to Athens before then? Do you even recall?
So the last time I had been to Athens before last year was, I'm just trying to make sure I'm not missing any. Yeah, it was 2014, believe it or not.
Okay.
I had a buddy of mine that his cousin like played special teams at Georgia. Um, but this was, I'm trying to think. So that's not why we were there though. I went up there in like 2013 as well, and we just hung out, went out. I think it was like graduation weekend, and we just hung out with him. But 2014, I had some baseball buddies that they were just it was the opening weekend of the season. This was Georgia Clemson, Todd Gurley against, I believe that was Deshaun Watson as a freshman. That was when
Yeah.
Todd Gurley took it all the way back. We didn't go in the game though. We just wanted to go to Athens and party. Like the guys all woke up after a night of partying on Friday and was like, y'all want to ride to Athens and just go to Athens? And somebody apparently knew a guy that was in a fraternity at Georgia. So that I got to experience like the frat houses and the tailgates. I remember walking into a frat house and there's just bottles on bottles like rolling across the floor. You had Old Crow whiskey, you had Tonka vodka. They were like, just take a handle if you want. I'm walking around Athens just with a handle of Old Crow, which it's so funny because at that time, obviously, I'm 23 years old, so it doesn't matter. But like, what a horrific whiskey that is, right? Like, it's terrible. You'd never drink that now. But had it, I remember us going to the bars and like me hiding it in a bush somewhere. Came back, it was still there. Took it home. So that was fun. But the last time I'd been to a game, guys, believe it or not, which it's crazy to even say this, I'm trying to think back, and you would think I would have been to a game, but 2007, before last year, was the last time I'd been to Sanford Stadium, been to a game. That was South Carolina, Georgia, when South Carolina actually beat
Oh,
Georgia. That was
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford, no Sean Moreno, Corey Boyd scored a touchdown for the Gamecocks. Blake Mitchell was their quarterback, and then Jasper Brinkley had the ceiling INT.
Uh, the
Eric Norwood
Brinkleys.
had a big sack in that game. Yeah,
hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and that funny thing about that game, guys. That was the week after South Carolina allowed like 250 rushing yards to Louisiana Lafayette, right? And I remember that morning, Lee Corso coming on game day saying like Georgia's going to run all over them. Like there's just no way that they can stop Georgia and stop Noshawn, and like there's just this game's going to be a blowout. And sure enough, South Carolina wins that game 16-12. And just what a weird game that was. So.
It was a
Um,
Yeah,
weird game.
that
what a
was
weird season.
yeah, that was back when Spurrier was still tormenting the dogs. So,
Yeah.
because heck, I remember his first year. I mean, 05 was close. I mean,
Hmm.
very close. I think that was Thomas Brown had like the game sealing touchdown run in that one, and then I was funny enough at the '06 game when what was it Tereshinski?
It was. Yep. The only reason Tereshinski got hurt in that game. That's why Stafford came in.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Yep, I remember Stafford came in. They beat him 18-0. Just blanked them.
That was
So.
another. But that game was weird. That was another super weird
Yeah,
game.
there were some like ugly ones when you're really thinking you look
Yeah.
back. Yeah, they had some I mean, dude, what about the '08 game when they came to Williams-Brice and Mike Davis fumbles into the end zone? They were going to take the lead and they lose 13-7. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
South
Yeah.
Carolina, Georgia, people don't realize like and it's such a shame that game's not on the schedule anymore cuz man, they had, do Georgia fans consider South Carolina a rival? I don't think so. I think South Carolina people kind of consider Georgia that way, but it's
Yeah.
been so lopsided. But there's been some wild games in that series. I mean, you go all the way back
Yeah.
to the Pollock fumble interception thing.
I was at that game. I was there
You're
for
right.
that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
people forget about that game. Like that was that was Thomas Davis's coming out party.
Hmm.
Dude, I mean, there's been some blowouts for sure, but there's been some '04 when they're up 16-0 and David Green and them come back and win
Yeah.
2016. That was in the blackout game. That was nuts. So
The South Carolina game historically was always on my birthday weekend. And so I would always the joke was is that like, every other year I was having like a terrible birthday. A
dude,
terrible birthday.
it's weird, man. And then, like I said, when Spurrier got there, he really became a fly in the ointment of Georgia. But dude, I love getting to Athens, man. I mean, I think we talked about it last year. I don't know that Sanford really gets the appreciation it deserves. I equate it kind of to it's kind of like Bama. I mean, listen, it's no fault of Georgia fans, but when you go, it's a fan base that's accustomed to winning. They expect to win. You could even argue maybe they expect like the win should come with the price of admission. It's not like a ravenous fan base from the standpoint of like they're on the edge of their seat, desperate. Like you know what I mean? Like it's not going to be like one of those type of environments. But it gets when Georgia fans want to get loud, it gets loud. Like it's a very fun atmosphere. Fun, like that Tennessee game last year was electric. So I can't wait to get back, man. And obviously, I mean, we'll just go ahead and throw it out there. We're going to Georgia, Bama. I mean, it's just an obvious. We're going to be in Athens for that game. That atmosphere will be kind of like, I mean, last year, again, Bama's the same way. Like, and I've had Bama fans tell me the same thing. They have a game or two every year where they show up and they're like, we maybe could lose, so let's like really get into it today or tonight.
Yeah.
But all the other ones, they're kind of like, like we'll show up and we'll win, and that's great, like whatever. But we're not going to make it some crazy hostile environment. But like last year at Bryant-Denny, I mean that Bama Georgia game, that atmosphere was nuts, and I think Athens will be the same. So I love getting to Athens, man. Like I said, it's my favorite college town. I think it's the best college town. So much to do, and people are great, and yeah, I can't wait to get back.
Yeah, no, that's sweet. That's sweet. Yeah, the Spurrier timeline that you were talking about, that's like when John and I were in school. Like that's when we were at Georgia. So yeah, definitely remember those days. I'm always worried about doing this. So while it's in my mind, I'm gonna do it. Tell folks just about SEC Unfiltered, where they can find all your stuff. We mentioned you've already mentioned kind of the road show, et cetera. Make sure for those who aren't well informed, let's give them a rundown.
Yeah, so SEC Unfiltered, we are an SEC media entity covering the SEC, baseball, basketball, football. So it's not just football. We cover all the major sports through podcasts, YouTube, social media. We do some live on location shows every now and then. I'm also doing our tour, which first time we did that was last year. Went to a different game for 15 straight weekends, capped it off in Atlanta in the SEC Championship. We do no repeats, so we're going to go – we won't get to hit everywhere, but we're going to hit a lot of different places. We'll see Georgia a couple times, undoubtedly, but we go to a different spot every weekend. And we did that also through the spring, too. Hit a couple basketball games, hit a bunch of baseball games, went to Omaha for 2 weeks. So I travel a ton. I've never traveled so much in my life, but it's a blast. We vlog it all, obviously. And, again, all of our content, like some of the others you see out there, just like this podcast and wherever where you can find podcasts, YouTube, stuff like that. But yeah, man, we're on year 2 of the journey, and man, it's been the most rewarding thing I've ever done. It's incredible. I mean, the community we've built and the way that we've grown and we're continuing to grow. It's incredibly rewarding, and like I said, it's just the amount of great people I've had the opportunity to meet. I mean, that's why I wanted to do the tour so badly because it's one thing to even have convos like this and create a digital footprint, but when you're able to go on the road, shake people's hands, and get out there and you kind of humanize yourself. And I mean, listen, I'm someone, and it's no shot or shade at anybody else in the media, but like ain't nobody else in the media going out to the bar with you like I'm gonna do. Like anybody else going to the tailgate. Like nobody else is coming shotgunning a beer or ripping shots. Like I really want to get out there and especially with the vlog, give people like, hey, if you came to Athens for a game, this is the experience. Like I don't sit in the press box, like I'm in the stadium every week. So it's a good time, man, but we built a great team. I got my guy Cole Thompson's my right-hand man, does football content with us. My guy Harrison Fant doing baseball content. We've got a staff of writers, and we'll be adding a basketball guy here soon as well. So it's a great team we built, man. Again, it's constant content every single day, content bleeding out of the eyeballs, I like to say. And, yeah, we're just getting started, man. It's a lot of fun. So, yeah.
Sweet. Any highlights from the tours that you guys have done? Like any memorable
it's a
moment?
Highlight every week, man. Well, I mean,
anything stick out? I guess.
Yeah, dude, for sure. I mean, the football tour last season, I rushed the field 4 times. So I mean, that is absolutely the highlight. I rushed the field at. So I was at Bama, Georgia. Didn't rush the field, but that was the best game I saw last season, and one of the best games I've ever seen as a college football fan. Just the dramatic.
That game was wild.
It's funny, guys, because I paid a pretty penny for my ticket. Now,
I bet you did.
I did. I paid a pretty penny, and I'm sitting there at half, and I'm like, God, I can't believe I dropped what I dropped, like a blowout. Yeah. And I picked Georgia going into that game. So, like, I mean, did I shed a tear that Bama won? No, not necessarily, but like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I wouldn't mind being right. When I came back, I was like, damn, if I really just called this. And then sure enough, Ryan Williams turned into a superhero, and that was all she wrote.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I got to rush the field at Arkansas, Tennessee, when they beat the Vols. I got to rush and that was in Fayetteville, obviously. Got to rush the field in Knoxville when Tennessee knocked off Bama. Smoked a cigar on Tennessee's field after the game. That was incredible. I hate to say it, I rushed the field at LSU Ole Miss in Baton Rouge, the overtime game. Nussmeier to RIP, Kyron Lacey. They win that one. That was wild. LSU was an incredible time. And then again, I was going to say, don't hate me for this, but I did rush the field when Ole Miss beat Georgia. I was at that game in Oxford. I did not see the kid celebrating with the Ole Miss fans. I did not see that guy, that Georgia guy that transferred, who became, unfortunately for him, became like a star. You know what I mean? I did not see him, but no, that was, I mean, dude, just getting to rush the field. It was one of those things, man, where I made sure to be extremely present moment throughout that experience because, you know, we have a bad tendency as human beings, obviously, to not do that. And then we look back and we're like, man, I really wish I knew I was in the good old days, right, before they left me. I did not do that, man. I soaked it in every single week. I feel like I did a really good job of understanding, like, you know, as coaches love to say, be where your feet are. I really was present in the moment and understood, like, man, what we are doing, this is really cool. Like, this is wild. You know, just take a moment to, I understood how lucky I was and how lucky I am. And, like, it was a blast, man. And, I mean, dude, there's so many other fun memories, too. I mean, you know, coming to Athens, that whole experience was phenomenal. Going to Jacksonville, you know, for the first time ever. I'd never been to the cocktail party. Got to see that game. I got some buddies that live in Jacksonville, and you talk about having a wild night out. We had a wild weekend that weekend. You know, going to Austin. Austin was awesome. I'd never been to I guess I went to the state of Texas over the summer, but I'd never been to Austin before. Never been to College Station. I knocked those out the last 2 weeks. I mean, there's more than you can count, but truly, I mean, obviously, the rushing the field 4 times is what stands out in the tour last year.
Well, you beat Georgia on your trip to A&M because we still haven't been out there.
Weird. Isn't that weird? Like, that's so weird. If they're not on the schedule next year, we really got to start questioning, like, hey, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What's going on?
I mean, I'd assume Georgia fans want to make that trip. Like,
yeah.
I will say, though, College Station, it is a tough place to get to because you have to, I mean, nobody's flying into College Station, I don't think. And you got to fly into Houston. And then, dude, College Station's still like an hour 15 out. I mean, you're not really that close. But College Station was really cool. You're a Georgia fan, listen to this. If they get on the schedule, and hopefully they do, definitely make the trip. Dude, Kyle Field is just like unlike anything you've ever seen. I mean, it is just massive. Like when you think Texas, people say things are bigger in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kyle Field. Like that's Kyle Field represents this. Like Texas fans will hate to hear that, but dude, it is mass. And like, I mean, I get why people fall in love with them every offseason. Because when I went down there, I got to tour the facilities and saw the inner work, saw the guts of it, and got to walk out where the team walks out and got on the field the night before the game. And I mean, you think about that. Think just that alone, it's hitting me like how lucky. I got to go on the field the night before the Texas A&M game. Like, pretty wild stuff. But man, you see all their facilities and you're like, dude, I mean, they got it all. Like, they're not missing anything except winning. So, you know, maybe Elko's the guy, but that was you're a Georgia fan and they get on the schedule. You got to make that trip. That's a really cool trip.
Did you go to the Yell? The
so
Yell
funny enough, they did not have the midnight Yell at midnight. They had it at like 6:00 because there was some concert or something was going on. And like now that you look back, you're like, man, that might have been a bad omen. Like,
kind
of
all
weird.
about the omens.
I would have went to Midnight Yell. I did go to, so funny enough, I did go to the most authentic honky tonk I've ever been to in my entire life. A place that doesn't even exist anymore. They were going to tear it down in like 2 or 3 months to build something else. It was called like Henry's or Harry's or something like that. It's on the vlog. But I mean, this was a true, like, I was like, dude, I should be wearing cowboy boots. I should have a hat on. Like, this is just, and funny enough, we watched the end of the Georgia Tech game in that bar. Like, I'll never forget that. That stupid, outrageous 7, what was it, 8 overtimes?
Yeah, 8. Yeah,
Golly.
yeah.
Yeah.
On Black Friday, we were freezing our butts off in the stadium, both of us.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was so
Yeah,
cold. It
we
was so
watched that.
cold.
We watched that end of the end of that game at that bar. So yeah, it was. But like I said, man, it's just. I mean, and then like we're talking about and I could just go on and on and on about the tour. One thing I will mention, I appreciate you allowing me to like share about what we're doing with SECU because it's a lot of exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm thinking this season what I'm probably going to do. We're starting to franchise shows kind of underneath the SEC Unfiltered umbrella, if you will. Like our college football show is called the Overtime Drive. We do that Monday, Thursday, and we're going to add Sundays in there when we get in season. Our baseball show was called The Wind Up, did really well. We're going to have a basketball show. I think I'm going to do a separate show, and of course it'll air on SEC Unfiltered. But I was actually, funny enough, I went to dinner with our guy Dwight, and he was talking about how much he enjoyed, like, on Mondays I would do the kind of like this Monday morning quarterback call-in show, power hour kind of thing. And I would sort of use that as a time to decompress everything that happened over the weekend and share my experience. I think we're going to do that again, and it's going to be like a dedicated, like, I don't know if the name would be like Saturdays in the South, or I don't know. I don't know what the name would be, but yeah, we're going to bring that back to that again. I think that's a really cool, a really cool thing to do, to kind of sit down and like walk everybody through exactly where we went, what we did, who we met up with. Just really share and divulge and go deeper into the experiences outside of just the vlog.
Yeah.
So we'll probably do that too. So I'm excited for that, man. Like I said, I'm grateful to say that pretty much every single year I feel like I'm saying this is going to be our biggest and best football season yet, and I feel confident in saying that yet again. And it's just been such a blessing, man. I mean, I was going to say, like, even you could go back to the tour, like, the Omaha trip I was just on for 2 weeks was nuts. I'll never forget that. I mean, that was just a party every day and partying with those LSU fans, and man, it was a magical experience. So yeah, excited to run it back, man. It's a long 15 weeks, and we're going to add more. I didn't go to any playoff games last year. Didn't go to any bowl game, or actually, I did go to a bowl game. I went down to Tampa and watched Michigan beat Alabama's ass. But didn't really document that. I just kind of went for fun and went for New Year's. But, we're going to be adding some games even, believe it or not. Definitely going to try to get to a college ball playoff. So I will repeat, let's say, if, like, Georgia is hosting a playoff game.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It'd take an act of God to keep me out of Athens for that type of environment, that type of atmosphere. Hopefully we're going to a national championship. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So yeah, excited to run it back, man. It's going to be awesome.
I mean, doing that every week. I mean, the Monday decompress thing sounds good, honestly, too. Because I mean, I know it's fun, but that's also got to be taxing over 15 straight weeks of doing that.
Well, you get to like the month of November. That's when you really. It's like, here's the thing. Every weekend's an adrenaline rush. You get to the point where you get addicted to going on the road. Like you get kind of, like after Omaha, and we obviously had SEC Media Days, but like I guarantee you by like next week, I'm going to be getting pretty antsy. Like, hey, like it's because it's just so much fun. And I told you guys this off air. The thing that has really helped with this is I just moved to a new city, Nashville. So I've been having a bunch of wild experiences here and kind of exploring the city.
Bachelorette parties.
We've tried to stay away from that. They're certainly out there. Leave the Broadway girls alone, like Morgan Wallen said. We've been on our best behavior for the most part. But no, just been exploring the city, man, and getting settled in. And so that's occupied my time and headspace, and obviously getting all our preseason content out and stuff. But yeah, it's an adrenaline rush, really, truly. But yeah, by the time you get to like November and you're excited for it, but you're right, it starts to wear on you a little bit. But again, that's one of the big reasons I moved to Nashville is because getting to so many of these places is going to be so much easier now. There's so many of them that are within a 3 or 4 hour distance where I can easily get there if I wanted to drive. Nashville's a great airport, so I can easily fly wherever. I don't know exactly how far Athens is, but I don't think it should be. It's not too. I mean, I'll drive down there. It won't be too bad.
I expect it to be like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah,
I've done that drive, but I can't remember.
So it's actually 4 hours and 54
minutes.
4 hours. 5 hours.
Almost 5 hours.
5 hours, yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, still, like, it's not bad. You just go through Chattanooga and boom, you're right down there. And I mean, I'm a psycho. I'll drive. I'll drive so far, man. Like, I mean, dude, I drove from South Carolina to Fayetteville last year. Like that. I went literally 12 hours in the car because it was such a last minute trip. It was literally the week of I decided I was going, and I was like, man, like the flights are like $700. Like you got to fly into like Fort Smith or something. You fly in, then you have to go down, like, Uber down or rent a car. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. So went halfway, stayed in Memphis on Thursday night, drove the rest of the way on Friday, got down there, and uh, believe it or not, Sunday I hightailed it and drove the whole way back. Just spent the whole
That's
day on the
brutal.
road. Yeah, crazy, really, truly crazy. I won't be doing that I won't. I probably won't be doing that this year. So,
Well,
At what point do you get a bus?
dude, listen, I agree. I agree. The mobile home, we're working our way towards that. I do imagine one day, like, we've got like the mobile home and it's just like wrapped with the SEC
Yeah,
Unfiltered.
the SEC
And then we've
right.
got like the mobile studio. I mean, listen, that's not that far fetched of an idea, man. I think that's because that's the thing is, like, and I've told myself there's no way I'm going to travel like this forever. Obviously, like, maybe another 3-4 years. I don't know. You never know. Hard to put a timeline on that because it is so much fun and I enjoy it so much. But man, if you got a mobile home, I mean, makes it pretty easy. So,
Yeah.
pretty convenient. So, but no, yeah, it's great, man. Like I said, it starts to wear on you a little bit. I mean, heck, your liver gets pretty conditioned at some point.
I was
But
about to say.
but man, it's like I said, the adrenaline kicks in because especially this year too, and what I felt as the tour went on and we were documenting all these experiences, like people are really looking forward to us coming, and that really, any like tired you may feel or whatever, it starts to wear on you, like that really subsides because you get there and like everybody's so excited you're there and you're excited to be there, and typically we're going to really big games every week, so it's like, dude, how can you not be pumped?
yeah.
So it's but I do reward myself end of season. I did it last year. I'll do it again. Either I don't know if it was the week after the SEC. Yeah, I think it was. It was the week after the SEC championship, Monday through Friday. And again, I'll do this again. I'll go on a ski trip for a week and just get on
Oh,
the mountain.
nice.
Try to put the phone away as much as possible. That's kind of my gift to myself. So I'll probably do that again. So before
Where'd you go last year?
so Western North Carolina, Beach Mountain,
Okay.
Sugar Mountain. That's kind of my go-to spot. I'm a big skier, so I'm hoping this season to probably in January try to get to like Banff, Canada, maybe
Oof.
somewhere out west, but just somewhere different because that's the only place I've ever skied there in like snowshoe when I was younger. But love to ski. I got my own skis. I mean, I'm a huger, so yeah, that's kind of like I said. That's my reward to myself.
Go visit Graham.
Yeah, is he still in Colorado?
No, he's in
I was about
Georgia
to say
now.
he moved to Athens, right?
Oh,
He's
that's
over
right.
here
That's
now.
right.
Yeah,
He could give me the spots though, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. No,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
what's crazy though, guys, I've read like I think it's either the same price or even maybe a little bit cheaper to go ski at the Swiss Alps than it is
In
to
the
go to
Swiss Alps.
Aspen.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Aspen's like crazy apparently. So Banff is the one I want to do. That if you guys have never heard of that, Banff, Canada, dude,
I've seen pictures.
I believe actually our guy John has got a Banff like poster in the background of his setup. Or he used to at least. So John's very familiar with Banff. Yeah, dude, it's gorgeous. I mean, it is flat out gorgeous. So, but yeah. Anyways, that'll be kind of my gift to myself after it's over. But I know I'm excited, man. I mean, I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped. It's going to be a great time.
Does living in Nashville, like, would you consider a home game for you, or do
So
you have to go out of town, or is Nat
I
like
feel like I have to do a Vandy game. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And
yeah,
like I want to. The Vandy people are awesome. They're great. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
people mock Vandy and they don't have fans, and sure they don't have many of them, but the ones they do have, dude, they're diehards. They're just like every other SEC. I mean, dude, I talked to guys last year because I went to Vandy, Texas. I talked to guys last year. They were like, dude, I've been sitting in this stadium for 35, 40 years. I've watched Vandy go 2-10, winless in SEC play. Like, I was like, I respect the heck out of that. I really do. So, yeah, I really respect it. I really respect it. So, no, I definitely will consider and will definitely do a home game. I think the world needs to see the vlog in Nashville for sure. That one will get pretty wild. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So let's back up a second. So
Yeah.
you mentioned SEC Media Days. What was your takeaway coming out of SEC Media Days, since that was something?
Yeah, I mean, here's the number one thing. You don't want to overreact to anything that week. They're not saying a whole lot anyways. SEC Media Days is really it's a fun event. That was the third time I've been to it. It's great to, interact and link up with people you haven't seen in a while, like, our guy Graham Coffey. I saw him. But it's an event for the media. There's not a ton that
it's like a spring game for the media.
Yeah, I mean, so like having, is there one big takeaway that I had? And maybe I already had this take going in, but just hearing all the coaches and leaving it, my feeling leaving it was it's going to be a pretty wacky year in the league. And I'm totally convinced nobody's going undefeated. I just think those days are more than likely over. With the parity that's been created via the transfer portal, I mean, look at a Georgia and a Kirby Smart. Like, you're not able to stack depth like you once did. Let's call it for what it is, right? Like, and that's something Kirby's talked about. And, so I just leaving that event, I was like, there's so much we don't know. We've never known less. These coaches have never known less. Like, these next couple weeks are vital for them because there's so many new faces and guys in new spots. And, guys you've maybe only seen film of because they were a portal guy, and now you got to get them in your system, and you maybe never coached them before. And it's like, yeah, it's interesting. Like, you've got that top tier of teams, and this was it felt like this was a well-understood point by the media, and this was also a takeaway. But you got that top tier teams, Georgia, Texas, Bama, LSU. Those are kind of your four favorites to make a run of the playoff. Those are the four, I think. If you ask me today, if anybody outside of those four was in the SEC title, I'd be kind of surprised, But then there's this cluster after that, Florida, South Carolina, Oklahoma, Auburn, Ole Miss. You've got, like, what is Vandy going to be? Like, at Arkansas sneak up. There's definitely some that I'm forgetting to mention here, but like, there's just this cluster of that next group. And in my mind, what I keep asking myself is, like, really expect it to go chalk. Like, somebody's going to jump up and make the playoff we're not expecting. And somebody in that top four that I mentioned is going to go 9-3 or 8-4 and have a disappointment.
7-5.
Maybe even 7-5. Maybe even 7-5. Yeah. No, funny enough, I was asked this question, who's the most likely to not make the playoff that should? And I did not say Georgia, by the way. I said LSU, just because I think Garrett Nussmeier could absolutely – and they're extremely talented, but opening with Clemson, you got to go to Bama. That might be 2 losses right there, and you got no wiggle room. And, I mean, you still got tough games against Florida. Granted, it's at your place. You got to go to Ole Miss. You got a tough schedule. 2 Oklahoma end of year. Tough schedule, right? So LSU be the most likely. It does kind of feel like – it's so funny, guys, because I love to – get our audience involved and just, like, ask questions this time of year. And so I've been asking people and we're actually doing a show on it, our Thursday show, Overtime Drive, talking the most overrated and underrated teams going into the season, just in our opinions. And I've had people respond Georgia to both those questions. People think Georgia's overrated. Some people think Georgia's underrated. It is wild, though, the lack of chatter around the Dogs. It is kind of strange. Like, there's just not a lot of talk. I'd tell you this, another big takeaway, since, obviously we're talking Georgia here. The fact Kirby brought Gunner to media days. I thought that was like,
yeah.
Okay. Like, there's been a lot of this Puglisi talk. And, heck, guys, I don't know if y'all heard this same thing. I had people telling me that Georgia was shopping around in the portal for quarterbacks. And, like, yeah. I'm like, man, like, God, are they really that uncertain about Gunner Stockton? Like, are they really, and granted, listen, I don't say that like they are, because in this day and age of college football, if you go get a guy, like if Sam Levitt wanted to come to Georgia, hey, Gunner, sorry, you're a fine player, but you ain't Sam Levitt. Like, you're always recruiting over guys, because you have to, because they could up and leave whenever as well. So, but I thought him bringing to Gunner was really telling. I love listening to Kirby. I do. He's just such a football guy. He'll make you want to run through a brick wall. I think the takeaway from him. Same thing, same message from spring. He just continues to preach, fire, intensity, passion. We want to find guys he wants to find 22, 44, et cetera. He wants to find guys that love football. Like, that's what he demands more than anything. It's, and I think at times he recognized that last year there was probably some uninspiring play. I think it irks him. I'd have to imagine it really irks him, so, but yeah, hearing Kirby talk about it and just talk about football in general, man, you don't have a pulse if he didn't get you fired up. So yeah, it was. But it is interesting, man. The chatter around Georgia is not as as prevalent as it normally is. And I told you guys this off the air. It is funny, and our guy John kind of leads it on social media, and there's some others out there as well. But Georgia fans, I've never seen Georgia fans so horny for disrespect as they are this offseason. I picked Georgia to finish third.
Tough, but fair.
My predicted order of finish. I picked Georgia to finish third. Think they're in the college ball playoff. And by the way, once we get about a week out from kickoff, I'm going to re-release that because that could change. It may change. I haven't dropped my my game-by-game predictions. That'll come out in the next few weeks. I mean, fairly or unfairly, right or wrong, I think it's fair. Like, you might feel a little bit better about a team coming out of fall camp. Like, some things you hear. Maybe somebody has an injury. Like, you hate to say that, but, like, I might like some things about Georgia a little bit more than I did or whatever. But, like, picked them to finish third. And you would have thought I picked them to go 7-5. So I'm just seeing a lot of that from Georgia people. And I think what it is, Georgia has been the bombshell 10 at the bar for so long that everybody wanted. Everybody had all eyes on. Well, here comes Texas. They're the new hot chick at the bar. And they're starting to take some of the attention away, right? People that were once looking at Georgia are looking at Texas now. And Georgia doesn't like that. Georgia fans do not like that, especially because, and listen, I hear you on this one. Especially because Georgia beat that ass twice.
I'll say it twice.
Everybody's like, Georgia fans are like, what?
Yeah, it's like, how many times do we have to do it?
Y'all told us we had a down year and we won the SEC title.
Yeah.
So I get it. I do understand that because it's like, I'll even say from my standpoint, it's so easy to fall in love with the Texas and get lost in the Texas hype. And guys, I mean, I got Texas winning the SEC. I mean, like, it's so easy. So
let me ask you this. So you mentioned that it seems like it's going to be kind of a weird year. Do you think that we talked about this with John last time, and so do you think that it's going to be a weird year because there's not really an established elite dominant quarterback in the SEC right now?
I think that's some of it for sure. I mean, I think that you'd be kind of foolish to think that doesn't play into it. I think that's, like, you could argue that's the biggest storyline going in, that so many of these top contenders are relying on guys that have played either very sparingly,
right,
not at all, or like they've never been the dude before, right?
Exactly.
So you would think that gives a team like an LSU a leg up. I mean, you've got Garrett Nussmeier. Like, he's as established as anybody in the I think
he's the biggest. He's the most known product in the SEC right now,
for sure. I mean, and then you got your wild cards, right? Like, is DJ Lagway going to be healthy? Can he make it through a whole season? Does Lenoris Sellers have enough help around him? Does John Mateer have enough help, and is he in the right system? Can Hugh Freeze get his head out of his and coach himself out of paper bag and kind of put the pieces together?
Stop stumbling over his word.
God, yeah, length and girth, baby. This show right here's got length and girth. Thank you very much. But he's, I mean, dude, he's, if he can get the most out of Jackson Arnold, like, I think he's got a lot of potential. I'm high on Austin Simmons at Ole Miss. I mean,
I was about to say Simmons is another one that's.
I mean, right or wrong, like, being at that Ole Miss Georgia game when I saw him come in, and it was easy to fall in love with him. You're like, wow, he is dicing up Kirby Smart's defense. Like, I was like, whoa. So
yeah, that was impressive.
His head coach is Lane Kiffin, so you feel pretty good. He's going to put up some numbers.
Yeah, he's definitely going to put some numbers.
So many of these contenders, man, like, we don't know what we don't know about Arch Manning, right? I mean, even Arch, like, I think Arch is going to be good. I really do. But again, he torched Mississippi State and UTSA, I believe it was, and came in on some special packages. What happened when he came in against Georgia?
Yeah.
Pushed in. So, I don't think it's a given at all that Arch is going to light the world on fire, but they're so talented around him, guys. They're so talented around him, but they got 4 new starters on the offensive line. LSU's got 4 new starters on the offensive line. What's Georgia's offensive line? Are we going to get back to Georgia being physical? Are they going to run the football? No. We don't know what we don't know, right? Like, it's a whole new group of wide receivers in Athens. What is Gunnar Stockton going to be? Ty Simpson at Alabama. He's thrown 37 passes his entire career. I think that Bama team's loaded. Like, I think they are loaded. Quarterbacks pick to click for them, but that's a pretty darn big thing if it doesn't click, right? Like,
yeah.
So, you got that. You've got Who am I
What's the
missing?
biggest question in the SEC right now? Who's got the biggest questions?
I'll tell you this. The biggest question I have in the SEC is there a dominant team? Is there a team that will separate themselves? Does that team exist? Or is it really just going to be a bludgeoning every week? You know, people are beating up on each other because it's a big year for the SEC to try to get the trophy back, right?
Mhm.
Huge year. I mean, I'm sick of hearing it from the Big Ten people.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's been so much hype for Penn State, and you've seen some Oregon hype. Of course, Ohio State defending champs. I'll be at that Texas-Ohio State game. That's a massive game for the conference. So is there a dominant team? You said biggest question for like an individual team?
Yeah, like as you look across the SEC, like who's got the biggest question mark?
That's a really good question because I think a lot of them have question marks. I really do. The biggest question mark for me, for an individual team, the biggest question mark I have is, well, you could probably apply to the whole conference too. Just who's going to be that team in the second tier that pops? Is it going to be Oklahoma? Is it going to be Auburn? Is it going to be Florida? Is it going to be South Carolina? You know, those are kind of your top contenders, I think, for that crown. Yeah, I mean, I think Arch Manning is low hanging fruit. I don't even want to go there. That is the lowest hanging fruit. And I think he could be average, and they go 10-2. You know, they're just that talented, and you know, it's not last year's schedule, but it's not the toughest schedule in the SEC. Can LSU run the football? I think that's a huge one. I think that is probably the biggest from a team standpoint because if LSU can run the football, I think Garrett Nussmeier will probably take a step. They added a bunch of talent defensively. If LSU can run the football and has offensive balance, guys, they might win the national championship. They might. I'm not saying I'm picking it. They got the personnel. Really, truly have the personnel. And they got, like you said, the most established quarterback in the conference. And that has to mean something.
Yeah.
So,
Something else
like,
that
guys,
you mentioned.
if I was just going to say, if LSU goes to Clemson and they are able to punch Clemson's D-line in the mouth, you know, hold their own at least. If LSU beats Clemson, we're going to be having a totally different combo about the SEC title race, national title race, because I think that will be like, hold up. We got to take LSU a little bit more seriously.
Well, that's been their Achilles heel the last couple of years, right? It's like that week one game.
Haven't won an opener since 19. Yeah.
JP, what were you?
I was gonna say something, but I totally blanked.
I didn't mean to cut you off. My bad, man.
Oh, it'll come back to me.
Yeah, but listen, I mean, I think, you know, we're talking about schedules. I think Georgia's schedule's pretty workable. I mean, you get Bama and Texas, but I mean, you look at, like, you know, the opportunity to build momentum. I mean, you're at Tennessee, right? That's your conference opener.
Yeah.
At Tennessee without Nico, and I don't care what Vol fans said. They downgraded at quarterback. I mean, I had Joey Aguilar 16th in my quarterback rankings. I don't think Joey's – I hope I'm wrong. I got a soft spot for App State myself. I just mentioned North Carolina. Got a soft spot for App State. I'd love to see Joey have a good year, but I don't think – I mean, Neyland's a tough place to play unless your name is Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs. They went there and wipe the floor with them. But you get the bye week before Bama, you know, win or lose, whatever. So, certainly if you win, you're ahead of the sticks. Kentucky, whatever, at Auburn. Auburn will be tough. But it depends. What did Auburn lose to Baylor? Like, are they ready to fire Hugh Freeze? Is Auburn 5-1? That will dictate that environment. And
I don't care if Auburn has one win. That game is always tough for Georgia.
Well, it's a tough spot to play. It's just a really difficult spot to play, and it's a great rivalry. And maybe that'll be the game we go to that week. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. And then the Ole Miss game at home. Feel good about it in Sanford. Florida and Jacksonville is going to be really interesting. That game, still in Jacksonville. But that game in Jacksonville will be really interesting, depending on the status of DJ Lagway. Like, I think Florida could be really good. Like, I think they could be a 9-win team, you know, maybe be that surprise team and get to 10. But, you know, I mean, then you got Mississippi State on the road, whatever. Texas at home, Charlotte at home, and then at Georgia Tech at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So,
what are we doing?
What are we doing?
Which is essentially a Georgia home game. So, I mean, you know, I mean, you look at it right now, like, where is Georgia the underdog? Like, I think they're going to be favored against Bama at home. I would think, right? And then maybe Texas at home, you're the dog. But, like, then again, guys, when's the last time Georgia lost a home game? I mean, it's been
a minute.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, 29.
Was it the 19 South Carolina game? God,
yeah.
Like, think about how long ago that was. Yeah. So, you know, your two toughest games are at home. So, and probably, you know, we already know Bama's at night. Texas will probably be at night.
Yeah.
There
I
is a
would
scenario on a side note. We were talking about the tour. I said I never repeat, and that's my plan this season. But there is a scenario if Georgia and Texas are undefeated,
Yeah.
I might have to wander my way back down to Athens. So TBD on that. But
An unofficial visit.
I mean, listen, one thing I've learned about Georgia folks, y'all are some hella good recruiters. So you
So
you ain't
speaking
got
of,
to you ain't got to twist my arm to get me on a visit. Trust me.
so speaking of the recruiting, and you mentioned this is what I blanked on earlier, but you mentioned the the parity with the way things are these days. But would you be surprised? Like I know John put this out, but like this is the most talented roster blue chip ratio wise that Kirby Smart has ever had.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is a little bit surprising. I don't think people realize that, right? I think the reason too that maybe we don't realize it or people aren't talking about it more, talking about Georgia more, it's not a lot of household names. I don't, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's some really talented football players,
There's a lot of youth.
but it's just a lot of youth. It's just a lot of guys we haven't heard of. Like nobody knows who, like a Gabe Harris Jr. is. People don't, not a lot of people know who that guy is. You know what I mean? Like, there's just names that I think haven't gotten that recognition and that hype, and I think people are probably going to learn pretty quickly. I mean, again, I didn't pick Georgia to finish third and said they were going to suck. I mean, I think Georgia's going to be pretty darn good. So and again, I haven't dropped my game by game predictions like I said, but yeah, that is fascinating. That is fascinating to think about. That the best blue chip ratio that Kirby's ever had. I mean, that's
Saying something.
listen. Jimmy's and Joe's still prevail. I don't, I mean,
Yeah.
they still prevail. So I'm really intrigued by Georgia. I think it's the offense, obviously, that controls the ceiling. I mean, a Kirby Smart defense is gonna we're gonna be fine.
Georgia's going to live and die on the offensive line. That's my.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree because I
feeling.
think because here's the funny thing, guys. Like I was dropping best case, worst case scenarios, and obviously it was like the extremes of both. And my worst case was 8-4 for Georgia. Do I think Georgia's going 8-4? Spoiler, no.
Right.
But it was funny because while I was doing that, I said, in a worst case scenario, like here's what it kind of looks like. Like they'd have to get I think Gunnar Stockton's not the guy, and they get poor quarterback play. But then I stopped. I'm like, they won the SEC last year with poor quarterback play. Somehow.
Yeah.
And poor offensive line, and we couldn't run the ball.
I saw Carson Beck telegraph the football to opponents last year. I'll never forget being in Jacksonville, and I was sitting in one of the end zones. And so, like, I'm kind of behind and have a line of sight view of a ball he threw, and I'm like, bro, there's triple coverage. We're close. I don't even know what he's looking at. And then some of the, we don't have to dive into this, but some of the things I've heard from some of our mutual Georgia friends about Carson Beck, and I think they might be better off without him. Just put it that way. I mean, just from a culture and a locker room and leadership standpoint. And I didn't think Gunnar was bad. Obviously he comes in against Texas second half, really tough spot, made some plays, but I thought the Notre Dame game, he wasn't terrible. I mean, I really he wasn't the reason they lost.
No, he did more than enough to win that game.
Yeah, he wasn't the reason they lost. So, he doesn't have to be a superhero. I think people forget how good of an offensive coordinator Mike Bobo is. How dare I say that? Because everybody hates Mike Bobo, but I mean he's
Craig just turned off the podcast.
Right. I mean, listen,
he rage quit.
Listen, the top scoring offense in Georgia history, I believe, still to this day, was 2014.
Yeah, I think that
and
sounds
Mike
right.
Bobo was the OC.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the guy kind of knows what he's doing a little bit. So, but I think the receiver room should be much better. I don't think Georgia's going to lead the country in drops again. You would hope not.
Yeah.
I think Nate Frazier can be a really good player. What's the other kid? Bo Walker. God, with a name like Bo Walker.
What a name. You can't talk.
You better win the Heisman. You better win the Heisman. So, dude, they got Chauncey Bowens in the backfield. I mean, they still got great tight ends with – man, Oscar Delp feels like he's been there for 10 years. But they got Delp.
He really does.
You're right. I mean, it comes down to offensive line play. If you tell me right now Georgia gets above average offensive line play, they're in Atlanta. I don't have any doubts about that. So it is a major question mark though, right?
Yeah.
It's a major question mark. I think that's something that could maybe give Tennessee a chance at an upset. Like, if your offensive line's still kind of struggling the way it was and you're one-dimensional, I mean, Tennessee's still got enough defensively, I think, to at least make that a close game. And then obviously with what when you face Bama, we're gonna find out who's for real. So I like this Georgia team a lot. It is, but like to your original point, the fact that it's the highest blue chip ratio Kirby's got. I mean, it just again it speaks to the job he's done, and they keep recruiting, and I mean they're signing stars, they're signing studs, man. So like that is definitely something to keep in mind when it comes to Georgia. Like, hey, let's while we're all falling in love with Texas, let's maybe not forget. Like, also too, Texas might have a Georgia problem, guys. Like, might they really might. I mean, we laugh, but for real, I mean, Kirby might just own. I mean, I listen. I think Tennessee's got a Georgia problem from the standpoint of I think Kirby just runs circles around Josh Heupel. Like, he does. I think it's Tennessee hadn't scored more than 17 points against Heupel. Had scored more than 17 points for his offense.
Yeah,
Kirby just got him in a blender, and Sark might be the same way.
When they keep they score first on Georgia, and then we just
and then but the other question too, like, hey, let's ask it the other way. Let's be fair. Does Georgia have a regular season Bama problem?
Yes.
Yes.
That makes that game really tough to pick when you're like, man, I mean, it is in Athens, but
we finally get them at home. I was about to say.
We haven't had them at home.
When was the last time? It's been a while.
The last time they were there
was the blackout game, right?
Oh, was it really?
No.
Was it the rain game?
It was the rain game.
Bama whooped that.
That was even worse than the blackout.
That was ugly. Yeah,
the blackout game, we at least kind of sort of almost made it respectable. The rain game was full.
That was ugly.
Yeah. We just had, there was a long Nick Chubb ripped off an 80-yard touchdown that was towards the end, but kind of meaning. Okay, so but you mentioned go to Atlanta. You mentioned picking Georgia third. Like, what's your take on where is the good place to be? So we've seen the playoff play out once, right? And then we've got a change this year, right? So gone are the automatic bye for conference champions, whatever. It's straight seeding this year. Like, it feels like third place in the SEC actually isn't a terrible spot to be in.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I'd absolutely agree. I mean, getting a first round bye would be ideal. It would, but yeah.
Is it based on what we saw on the field?
Well, you get a bye. You're skipping the championship gives you the same amount of time off.
To your point, if you finish third, you don't have to play the SEC title game.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved what Kirby said last year that winning the SEC championship still matters. It does. Like, it's a big deal to bring a title home to Athens, no matter what it is. So I respected the heck out of that because I feel the same way. I love the SEC title game. I hope they never get rid of it. But if they keep expanding, I will get why they would because it's just going to lose all meaning at some point if you keep expanding. But yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, 10-2 and letting Bama and Texas beat up on each other for one more game while you get to kind of game plan and chill and I mean, I guess in that scenario, yes, you have to play. But then again, if it's straight seeding, I mean.
Mark Ripp just rage quit, Jim.
I mean, listen.
10-2? You're telling me that's okay now?
Yeah, right.
If it's man, Mark Richt would have been a hell of a coach in the playoff era.
I agree.
He'd have been
he was a heck of a coach. Period.
Oh, for sure. No. I mean, dude, I listen. I love Coach Richt. I think he was awesome. But I'm saying he would have been. His career would be viewed a lot differently. There was a 12 playoff. But I mean, I guess there is a scenario where you could get a first round bye if you went 10-2 and finished third. I doubt it though.
That'd be tough.
Yeah, because you're gonna have a Big Ten team in the top four. You'll probably have an ACC team. So but then I guess you ask the question. If it's if it's Bama, Georgia, let's just hypothetically say neck and neck. Mm-hmm. Texas goes out there and takes it to Bama. Does Georgia slide in front? Do they so that'll be more nonsense we'll talk about with the playoff when it gets there this season. That was like the most maddening thing, but my God, for content, it was so much fun because nobody had the right answers. We were just all yelling at each other for no reason.
That's always my thing is what was always so fun about college football, like arguing about everything. I don't know. That's what I kind of
listen. The banter, that we literally have in our bio. The beauty's in the banter. I live by that, man. That's one of our core values. But let me ask y'all. I'm curious. Just Georgia Nation, what the answer to this question would be? Would you rather go? I mean, you'd rather go to the SEC title, win an SEC title. But the main part of my question is, would you rather have a first round bye like last year in your first games in the Sugar Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
or do you want a home playoff game?
Mm.
Having seen everything play out last year, I'd rather have a home playoff game.
I feel like there's something to be said about having that basically head start, right? And if you get to have if you have a home playoff game, you're you should be favored. Well, now with the new seeding thing, like you're gonna have, if you have a home playoff game, you're most likely gonna be the favorite. You know,
Mm,
get that train rolling, and then you're playing a team who's been off, right?
yeah.
It could be rusty. So,
Yeah, I mean you get better at football by playing football. So
yeah,
like
yeah,
I mean, yeah, sure, Georgia got to rest, but like we said, Notre Dame got to beat up on Indiana and gain
yeah.
some confidence and just, I mean, I think it probably helped. So, there's there's pros and cons to both, I suppose, but
The traditionalist in me says win the SEC championship though, because like it's
right,
just hard to
right.
like not think that because like
Well,
we used to say like
that should
it's
still be the ultimate goal. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like I mean it's you could
The
argue you
tail
used to be able to argue it's harder to do that than to win a national title. Like I mean, is what
the
it
Yeah.
tailgater in me wants another home game. Wants another home game,
is.
and then on
I'm with
top
John. I'm with John.
on top of our friend Josh Hancher, Dog Stats, play college games on college campuses. There's definitely that component, and frankly, like I get it. Like the sentimental side of me is like, yeah, win the SEC, like it still means something. All this kinds of stuff, like rah rah, let's go SEC. But like at the end of the day, like our SEC championship last year was pretty meaningless in the in
Yeah,
the grand in the grand scheme of things.
and that's unfortunate that we're at a place in college football where what you said is fact.
Yeah.
It's winning the SEC title. It's great for your trophy case, and it's great for the merch, and it's great for fans to gloat and boast about, but it doesn't really mean a lot. I mean, it's like I hate this fact, but they've turned winning the SEC championship in football kind of like winning the SEC tournament in basketball or baseball. I mean, it's like it's cool to win. It's not. It doesn't have that little value quite
Mhm.
yet. But it's just like, yeah, it's I mean, like Vandy won the SEC tournament in baseball. Cool. What did it mean? I mean, what did it matter? They got
Yeah.
knocked out first round. Like what did it matter?
That's a good corollary for sure. I was gonna
Yeah.
say like it's almost like winning the division in baseball, like in the
Yeah,
Major
it's just like
League.
whatever. I mean, you don't
Yeah.
have to. You don't have to do that to win the whole thing. Like it's cool. I mean, Braves fans, we love watching the Braves win the East every year, but
Right.
man, I'd much rather you be a
Not
wild
this
card
year.
team and win the God. Yeah,
Too soon. Too soon.
now Dwight just turned the show off. He
Dwight just
complains
rage
to me
quit.
about the Braves about every chance he gets. I don't blame him. It's been a nightmare.
Uh, too good. Here, let's hit a couple of these listener questions, and then we can keep going. But there was a couple that I wanted to hit. We can start with Brett. Brett Belding had the Belding bonus TM. So he has two questions. One, what is your favorite SEC rivalry game and why?
Favorite SEC rivalry game. So it's two that I've never. I'll say this. I'm going to both of probably my top two this season,
Okay.
and I've never been to them. I mean, I feel like the Iron Bowl has to take the cake here. Like,
Hmm.
especially here's the thing: the Iron Bowl at Jordan Hare specifically. It's not the same game. It feels like in Tuscaloosa. That game at Jordan Hare, weird things happen. The plan is to go to that game last week of the season. So I'm
Hmm.
hoping Auburn is halfway decent. But another one that I'm really excited, guys, and again, I am planning to go into this one this season too, is Dallas for the Red River Shootout, Texas, Oklahoma. And it's a newer SEC rivalry, but
Sure.
I've heard that one is really cool, kind of unlike anything you've ever experienced. So, yeah, I'd probably say the Iron Bowl. I mean, favorite SEC rivalry. There's a lot of really great ones, but it's just really hard to beat the Iron Bowl, man. That's such an iconic game. Such an iconic game. So, but
Yeah.
hey, I mean, listen, Bama Georgia's kind of turned into a rivalry. Maybe Bama Texas, or excuse me, Georgia Texas will be one. But yeah, the Iron Bowl is just, and like I said, the Iron Bowl at Jordan Hare, just a different animal.
Yeah.
You went to another one that I was actually thinking that you were going to say Alabama, Tennessee.
Yeah, I was at that one
Third
last year.
Saturday in October, right?
Yeah, that's now that one's starting to get some juice back because Tennessee's starting to win, right?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, like it's still a rivalry, but it's not really a rivalry when one side wins every year. Like that's why I would never say Georgia Tech. Like
Hmm. Yeah.
it's a rivalry, but like, is it? really? I mean, like you can't just get your tail whooped. And granted, like I mean, last year they gave Georgia all they wanted and then some, but and I mean, Tech should be pretty decent this year with Haynes King, I think. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, listen for out of conference, South Carolina Clemson is an awesome rivalry. Florida State, I think is what's the other one? The honorable mention that maybe the most underrated rivalry in the SEC conference rivalry, the Egg Bowl.
It is a good
Egg
one.
Bowl. The Egg Bowl is nasty.
Yeah.
Nasty. Like hate. Real. They call Georgia Georgette clean old fashioned hate. That's dirty old fashioned hate. Like they despise each other down in Mississippi. So that's one that I think
we have a buddy, Hunter
that
Jones.
is actually,
shout out.
yeah. You could actually rank that one number one because here's the thing, like Bama Auburn, it's a fun back and forth. Like, but it's and there's so much on. Like, I think it means a lot that there's so much on the line for something like Texas, Oklahoma in years past have decided so much. But what makes the Egg Bowl great is neither one of them are normally like great. Obviously, Ole Miss has caught on. Those teams could both be 5-6 going in. 4 and it doesn't matter. Like the records
the whole
in that
season,
game,
the whole season comes down to that game.
The whole season hinges on the Egg Bowl. Like neither one of those programs realistically is like playing for national championships or even SEC championships. Like they're playing to win that game, right?
Right.
So yeah, that one I actually respect the heck out of that. That it's like, dude, they just want to beat the hell out of each other for the love of the game. Not because there's some accolade on the other side. Mm-hmm. They just want that Egg Bowl trophy. That's it.
Yeah.
So I have along the rivalry front. I have a question. I've always wondered this. It's because you went to the LSU baseball out in Hoover, right? So and you spent a lot of time with Daly, right? So she has this fascination with A&M. Is that really a big rivalry? Because I never really looked at that as a big rivalry.
What's funny about that, John? You were earlier in the show when I was talking about like overrated and underrated teams and like I was talking about the tiers. A&M, I literally hadn't mentioned them the whole show. I can't believe I just completely forgot about them. Like they forgot. So, if there's any A&M fans out there, sorry, but no, the fact and Joy does such a good job on her TikTok, just terrorizing those A&M people. But there is so the SEC obviously just pitted those two against each other, LSU and A&M, when A&M came in the conference. I think A&M just more so annoys LSU fans than anything. Okay. Because there isn't – listen, LSU's done it. They're a legit program, big time, won national titles, Heisman Trophy winners, the whole shebang. They've done it all. A&M acts like they've done it all. A&M, there isn't a program in the conference, and I say this with love, there isn't a program in the conference with a more self-inflated view of themselves than Texas A&M. There just isn't. There just isn't. Maybe Auburn is the other one because I just don't and I say it with love, but even when I went last year to Auburn, I'm like, the way we talk about Auburn as a program, and then you see they got 2 national titles, and granted one of them happened in the 50s, and the other one was with one of the greatest college football players of all time with Cam Newton.
Yeah.
We talk about them as if they've won double or triple the amount of national titles they actually have. It's like what, you know what I mean? Are they really that program we make them out to be, or should their expectations every year to go, if we go 8-4, we had a pretty good year.
That's what you're saying.
Tommy Tuberville just rage
wild.
Quit.
That's wild. But A&M, man, I think A&M fans, A&M fans know exactly how to get under LSU fans' skin, and it's the fact that LSU just, for whatever reason, cannot win that game in College Station. So, it goes back to the whole 7 overtime game. A&M people printed the cups to also too, LSU fans hate A&M and A&M fans because you talk some trash LSU people, they take that pretty serious. They're a rambunctious bunch. Put it that way. Yeah. They don't need a whole lot of reasons to not like you. So A&M has talked just enough smack and runs their mouth just enough to it really. So I don't know that I'd classify it as it's one of the great rivalries of college.
Okay.
But it is. Yeah. But it is. There's a
it's
lot.
It's just joystick.
It's joystick, and there's just a lot of because again, good buddy of mine, Blake Ruffino, I do a show with weekly, and he's the owner of AYS Sports, which is a big LSU entity, in my opinion, the best one. But I've talked to him about this very thing. I had him on the week of that game last year, LSU A&M, asked him if it's a rivalry. And he's like, not in the traditional sense, but like Texas A&M is that guy that rolls up to the bar in the jacked up truck, and he's like 5'7", and you're like, he's overcompensating for something. Like he absolutely is. Like that's kind of A&M, and like, but they don't know when to shut up. So the guy at the bar who's just running his mouth, who doesn't know when to shut up. So like at some point like that, yeah, they don't take kindly to that. So, and like A&M, I think a lot of them think they are superior to LSU. That's what really pisses them off.
Yeah.
Like, that's what really irks LSU people. It's not like when I went to Georgia, Bama, like they hate each other, but like there's a mutual respect between Georgia and Bama people. Like, hey, we know y'all are good. Y'all know we're good. Respect it. Right.
Yeah.
Like that's not the case with LSU A&M. A&M thinks they're on that level, and LSU like, no shot. You're not even remotely close to us. So
we have a threshold.
One. Yeah.
We have a threshold on the podcast for what defines a rivalry.
Yeah, we have criteria.
I would love criteria. By the way, side note, that's probably the LSU game I'm going to this year. LSU A&M. So,
nice.
Okay.
Nice.
I try to go to like the most toxic environments I can find. So, what is the threshold for rivalry? I'd love to hear this.
So there are various things that can qualify the game as a rivalry. I think we have 3 things. Oh, now I'm trying to remember all of them. One is like the game has to have a name. I don't know that it has to, but like if the game has a name, so like you mentioned Egg Bowl, that's a rivalry.
Iron Bowl,
right?
Clean old fashioned hate.
Iron Bowl, yeah. we got the cocktail party, and we got the Deep South's oldest rivalry. So it needs to have a name. Another criteria that could make sure it's a rivalry is if the schools cannot agree on the all-time record between each other, it's a rivalry. That's one that I love because we have multiple of those. So we have that similarly with we have that with Florida. We had that with Georgia Tech. I think we had that with Auburn as well. What was the other one? There might be I think there's a third one, but those 2 are really good.
On a side note, people don't realize how good of a rivalry Georgia Auburn is.
Oh,
they really don't.
It's unbelievable.
Deep South's oldest rivalry.
Yeah, Deep South's oldest rivalry. That's people do not. That's probably a rivalry that doesn't get the credit it deserves.
Well, because historically, and again, this is my get off my lawn segment. It's like, that game used to be like at the end of the season. So many times like Georgia or Auburn's like SEC title hopes rested on that game. And there's so many times that we took each other out of that. Right. And now with it being so early in the season, it doesn't come down to that anymore. So I don't know, kind of annoying.
Yeah. What is it? 65, 56 and 8. And well, Georgia's won the last 8 of them. So,
right.
I mean, you think about 8 years ago, what that would have been 57, 56 and 8. I think that helps make a rivalry great too, man. When it's really it's truly back and forth like that. That helps.
Yeah,
no
totally.
doubt.
Okay. Second one from Brett. What is the weirdest game you've ever seen in person?
Weirdest game. Well, Georgia Bama last year in Tuscaloosa was weird just because of the blowout and then the comeback.
Yeah.
If that had been pulled off, that would have been like
insane. Oh my God, Kalen
the greatest comeback in SEC history.
Kalen DeBoer might have been fired on the spot. I'll tell you this: the weirdest. I'm gonna take you back with this one. One of the best college football games I've ever witnessed. But I think because this game had electric offense, big defensive plays, it had baffling play calls, it had a weather delay. Like it was weird. 2014 South Carolina, Georgia.
Okay.
That was the 38-35. Dylan Thompson sneaks it on 4th and inches. They bring the chain out. The iconic image of the chain that was there not a link?
Yeah, I still feel like that was the wrong call.
Dude, I was in the stadium for that one. Man, that was a wacky football game. Like you had the game was delayed an hour and a half or so because of lightning, so it essentially turned into a night game. It rained. I think that was the game. No, maybe it was after 2012 when I think it was Todd Gurley said he's like, I never want to hear Sandstorm ever again. But yeah, I mean, you had, South Carolina's, that was Hudson Mason.
Mm-hmm.
South Carolina's defense couldn't stop a cold. You had Dylan Thompson doing his thing. Brandon Wilds, big touchdown late. Mike Bobo inexplicably not giving the ball to Todd Gurley down in the red zone.
Yeah.
Inside the 5, I think.
Yeah, and then Hudson Mason got flagged for intentional grounding, and then we got an intentional grounding.
That was intentional grounding, and then that was kind of Nick Chubb's coming out party a little bit in that game.
Yeah,
yeah. And Todd Gurley was just he was a monster. Yeah, that was a wacky one. That was and you know what else I think added to the weirdness of that game is because that was the 14 season, and like South Carolina got their doors blown off week 1 against A&M, and then they beat East Carolina week 2 in like a real sloppy game, and then South Carolina beats Georgia week 3, and like, oh, here we go, here they are, and that was a team that was picked to, that was coming off 3 straight 11-win seasons, and South Carolina just ended up being, I say terrible. They won 7 games, but they weren't good. The defense was historically bad, and I guess did Georgia go to the SEC title that year?
No, that was season. So we actually turned it around.
Auburn.
That was the year that I think it was. Yeah,
Auburn,
and it was the year that Gurley got suspended. So like everything.
I was going to say Gurley. Yeah.
Dude, can we? By the way, what a just terrible SEC championship.
Yeah. yeah.
Kind of lackluster title game. But I mean, here's the thing. If you ask me this question about baseball games, that I can answer easily. I've seen some just outrageous baseball games. But yeah, that was probably the weirdest. I mean, I've seen a lot of funky ones. We all have, I feel like, at some point. So I feel like there's probably one I'm completely blanking on, maybe even from last season. But
for and giggles, what's your baseball game?
Probably the wildest game I've ever seen was the game 2 of the Super Regional between Florida and Clemson last year. That game was just out, dude. I mean, you had the crazy catch by Cam Canarella. You had Nolan Naraki trying to essentially get in Jack Caglione's face and act like they were going to fight on the field. Multiple suspensions. Eric Bakich gets suspended. He's yelling at the ump. Jack Leggett gets suspended from the dugout, or gets ejected, I should say. You had, a walk-off to punch your ticket to Omaha. I mean, that game just had it all. That game had it all. So that's probably the wildest. That's the wildest baseball. That's 1A. 1B would be this season when I went to LSU and Bear Jones hit the walk-off at 1:17 a.m. against Tennessee. I think they were down 3-0 going to the 9th inning, and just some Bayou voodoo magic hit the stadium, and yeah, Bear Jones pimped the ball harder than I've ever seen anybody pimp a baseball. So, blasted a ball, hadn't landed yet. So, yeah, those two for sure, wackiest baseball.
Nice. All right, John Michael D. Although this one might take us down a rabbit hole, but
I love rabbit holes.
How long until everything we think we know about rev share and NIL is obsolete again? A week? 2 months?
Tomorrow?
Yeah, it's like we thought we knew, and then
I got to be honest with you guys, and the point of his question, yeah, probably soon, but and this might sound bad, me doing what I do and SEC Unfiltered being what it is, but like, dude, like I don't want to talk about it. I don't care, bro. Like I do care, but I don't. Like the college football off season is so incredibly nauseating now.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're forced to talk about it because it impacts the sport we love. But if you like really gave everyone truth serum, I think even the common fans who tune into the content would be like, I would so much rather y'all talk about something. Like we've never, that's why this time of year is so great, because we are actually starting to talk about ball in the field. It's going to be happening in a couple weeks. Whereas like, dude, we've never spent less time talking about football in the off season. We've never talked about it less. To a point, I mean, dude, like, funny enough, like I'm playing golf with Dwight and a couple other guys. This was a couple months ago, and I think it was actually in the spring. Might have been a few weeks before the G-Day game, spring game. And I'm asking, and I like to get a gauge on where people are at, especially like people that are just like the common fans or whatever. Yeah, I'm asking them, and they're like, couldn't care less. I just don't even care. Like, not even don't even want to go. Dude,
it's just out of your hands. There's just nothing. You can't point to.
You can't even rally around a guy.
Yeah,
you can't rally around players anymore. Like Dude, I went to Bama spring game. Complete joke. I mean, it was a complete joke. They're out there like they're running drills and you're not even it's not even football. It's
Yeah.
yeah, the off-season product of college football is just deplorable. But thank goodness Saturdays are still Saturdays. Like Saturdays in the fall still hit. That's when them boys run out there with a G on their helmet, all that other stuff will go to the wayside and we're playing football. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
but like again, I don't say that as like we do talk about it, and like I'm not saying I want I want the health of the sport to improve, but like I didn't get into this business to be like there's a really popular thing right now, guys. If you go look, hell, Donald Trump jumped into this, but it's the popular thing where it's like everybody wants to be the guy that saves college football. Like, and I'm not calling anybody out, but you see people on Twitter like, if I were the commissioner, I'd be doing this. Like, this is what I should do. Like, this is what I'm like, my God, can you stroke your ego anymore? Like, I didn't get into this business to be the guy that saves college football. I want to talk about college football. I want to watch college football. I want to go to tailgates, go to games, make predictions, have a good time. Y'all worry about saving college football. I don't want to have to do that. Like, I thought I was hoping there were people that were a lot smarter than you and I and all of us making these decisions. Why are y'all asking me what we should do? I'm not the guy running it.
Yeah.
I don't have all the information.
Yeah.
But that was another takeaway at Media Days, by the way, going backwards. Listening to Greg Sankey speak, you're like, this guy doesn't come off as the decision maker like I maybe thought he was. I mean, dude, I think the TV networks are making all the decisions at this point. I really do. The thing about where the money's coming from, it's all the network stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think Greg Sankey's the one out there. He did not come off to me as someone in charge. It's like Bane and Batman. Do you feel in charge?
Well, it's probably because the power is slowly slipping out of the conference commissioner's hands and moving towards like we said, like at the SEC championship, the SEC doesn't matter as much anymore as assembling a team that can compete for national championships. It's the national championship or bust. It's the exact same situation as the college basketball.
And I don't know where it stops, man. I really don't.
I mean, I think that I've been saying it for ever since day one when they started paying players, is like when it was just the absolute Wild West, is just bring on the contracts, bring on the salary cap, and just call it what it is. Like just across the board, this is the cap. We're screw the. I think that all the lawsuits that are going to come out of this whole law or whatever executive order or whatever we're trying to do to stop the collectives, basically getting thrown out. So now it's like, oh, the collectives can actually still operate now. So it's like you've got the money coming in from the rev share, but then these collectives can still do whatever they want, really. And it's like there's really there's nothing stopping Texas from continuing to assemble a $40-50 million roster every single year because they've got the bottomless pockets. And I'm sick of it. It's just like give everybody an operating budget, and then whatever you can do from there, figure it out.
Yeah. I think you're right though. I think back to John Michael D's question, like who knows? And probably soon. When it'll change again.
Anything we say is just some opinion we have that who knows. It's hard to like have any basis of why. But John, I think you hit the nail on the head, man. Like I just the revenue sharing stuff sounds great in theory, but and Trump comes out with this executive order like let's stop pay for play. And it's like yeah, and then in the article it's like there's not anybody we don't know who's going to enforce this. It's like,
you can't enforce it. Yeah, exactly.
You just did that. They're like, you just want to feel good about. And by the way, it's funny. I talked about this on our socials, and of course, the comments are about as messy as you would think. I'm like, this has nothing to do with politics and all to do with college football. It's just a college football take. Like, but that we just got a lot of people that want to save the sport, but they're not really doing a whole lot. And it's disheartening. Like, because I'm a huge baseball guy. Like, if you follow along with us, like we cover baseball. I think harder and better than anybody else in the SEC sphere. I truly believe that. The baseball community, college baseball, it's like grow the game. Like we love the game. We love college baseball. Yeah, everything's awesome. Like everybody rallies around, like pushing the game, grow it. So it's disheartening coming from that school of thinking and that type of vibe and that type of energy to man, college football has never been worse.
Mm-hmm.
College football has never the product just the state of the game has never been worse. It's never been less likable than it is now. Really, if we're really honest.
We talked about that last week. I think that where some of these players over time are going to figure out these brands that they're able to build by swapping teams left and right. You cut off an entire fan base. Like, let's say you're a big, let's say if Jalen Milroe decided to transfer last year, right, his senior year, and go somewhere else, play at USC or something like that. Like all of a sudden, the people that just loved and followed him and invested in him, like all of a sudden they're completely turned off when he goes to the NFL. Now he's got nothing to fall back on from a fan base standpoint. Whereas you've got guys from the past that, they're legends at the University of Georgia or the University of Alabama because of what they did. They stuck it out for 4 years. Like DJ Shockley to me will always be that guy for Georgia folks because he waited his turn all the way through. And I don't know that you'll ever see someone like DJ Shockley again. Just sat the bench, rode the pine, let someone else take the shine, and then the senior year just balled out.
Yeah.
I mean, think about Carson Beck. Is he going to be welcomed back with open arms anytime soon?
Hell no.
I mean, I don't, I know that some of the fans didn't maybe love him last year, but no, if he just stuck it out, I think Carson, dude won an SEC championship, but now, no.
He's not going to be selling insurance in the state of Georgia. Let me just tell you that.
No, he's not. So yeah, you make a great point, man. I think I
don't even know that he'll be selling insurance in Miami by the end of the year.
Hell.
But
a lot of kids are losing their the bag is making them lose sight of the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Correct.
On the flip side, I mean, God, you got people throwing this crazy money in these kids' faces.
Yeah, $4 or $5 million a year. I get it. Like that's generational, right?
But then, I got to be honest. I think college football needed a story like what happened to Nico. We needed somebody for it to backfire.
Yeah, exactly.
We need that. We need some, and he's still getting paid. But dude, there's nobody who thinks he upgraded his situation. Like he was crazy for making that move. Crazy.
I still wish that Florida got nailed to the wall for what they did to what was his name, Jim?
Rashada,
yeah. I wish that the universities themselves would get nailed to the wall too for the promises that they make and don't fulfill.
Yeah, his whole career is kind of taking a tailspin because he was at Georgia last year, right?
Yeah.
So that's so interesting. And now, he's where is he at now?
So he went somewhere that they're like bringing back football or something somewhere that's like either just jumped up to 1A or whatever FBS or jumps next year, like San Diego or something out west.
Yeah, so they apparently April 25th they logged a predict. Did he go to Sacramento State? Is that where he ended up?
That's it. And they're like trying to jump up, and so I think they've got a bunch of NIL or something. They've got like a alumni base that is helping them grow their roster.
That's crazy.
From what I heard. Yeah. All right, let's here. This one, let me hit one more, and definitely want you to get to experience this, Chris. So this listener question comes with some theme music.
My God, a freshman.
Trying to put glasses on it.
1980, woo, brother.
All right, it may be the offseason, but we still got a Coach Trill over-unders. This one's called Coach's Quick Over-Unders. We've only got one. So this actually kind of sort of came up, the first one. Over-under, SEC Unfiltered stops in Athens in 2025. Coach set the over-under at 1.5. So we heard there's a chance. There's a chance to be the over.
As you think about it, I mean,
I'm going to smash that over.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. We're going to be there once, undoubtedly.
Yep.
And depending on what happens with Georgia and Texas, and or depending on what happens with Georgia, maybe hosting a playoff game. So
yeah.
I'd probably bet on the over.
Oh, I got to take the over. You said it, I'm saying.
Yeah,
Clean sweep.
Here's the thing. I'm wishing for the over.
There we go. I like it.
I'm wishing for it. Whether it's what would they be at that point? I think if it's 10-0 Georgia against 10-0 Texas,
Oof.
sign me up.
Oof. Yeah.
That ticket will be outrageous, but
I was
sign
about to
me
say,
up.
sign up the entire world.
They
Or
got they're-
the playoff game. I mean,
Okay.
sign me up for that in a heartbeat.
Yeah. We've got TVs at Morris Hall. Worst case.
Which is a great experience.
Oh, I'd imagine watching a game at Morris Hall would be pretty wild. To say the least.
One of my favorite Georgia memories is watching a game at Morris Hall tailgate when Tennessee fans were exiting the stadium and my son and his buddies were just giving Tennessee fans the business.
Gotta love it.
And then his second one was SEC teams in the college football playoff over under 3.5.
That's a really good question. That's actually you have to think about that for a second because it's so easy to go over. It is. Last year, I think we all got a little overzealous.
Mm-hmm.
We all got a little bit out over our skis.
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to be either 3 or 4. 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Right now, I'll go over and say 4. Because I would put I'd bet on it right now. Georgia, Texas, and Alabama. I feel really good all 3 are going to be in. I do. I think there will be a 4th, whether it's LSU or somebody else.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. I think there'll be a 4th. And I feel pretty confident it'll be LSU. But I still think there'll be a 4th, even if it's not them. So I'll take the over, but I think it's going to be 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Do you trust Brian Kelly to get him there?
Yeah, there's some trust issues with Brian Kelly. I think he's a good coach. Don't get me wrong. He just tries too hard sometimes. Like the Death Valley Jr. comment. And, he says, "Judge me in year 3," and then they go 8-4 in year 3, and then he's like, this is he's slamming the table, and this is the he's like what do he say over the offseason? Like the expectation we're expecting to be in the national championship next year. Like, why'd you say that? You didn't have to say that. Just at times. But I think he's a good coach. Like I said, it's a really similar question that Georgia has is just can they run the football? What do they look like on the offensive line, losing so many guys they lost? So I'll tell you this. Do I trust Brian Kelly wholeheartedly? Do I trust Garrett Nussmeier wholeheartedly? Especially if they've got a lackluster running game. Like, he had – I think he had like 17 turnovers total last year. Like, I've equated Garrett Nussmeier.
I was about to say that Jim and I have there's a fine line between gunslinger and
he's the Bayou Brett Favre. Really. But I've equated Nussmeier to this. He's the pitcher that throws 100 that's got nasty stuff. But every couple outings, he just don't have a clue where it's going.
Spencer Strider?
Yes, exactly. So it's like when he's on, man, like I was there against Ole Miss and saw him make that throw. I was in that end zone where he made that throw to Aaron Anderson to tie the game. Like, man, you're like, this dude just, man, he's got it. But then you look at like the Florida game last year, or some of these other performances he had, and you're like, Lee, he ain't got a clue. So if Garrett Nussmeier can make that year 2 jump like Brian Kelly's essentially told us at media days he would, like Jaden Daniels and Joe Burrow, which is, again, those are wildly lofty expectations to throw on the kid. Both those guys won the Heisman. So, but if he does make that jump, I mean, yeah, we're cooking. So, but I think LSU's the team out of the top 4. Like I said, I think that's your top tier. If there's a team of those that's going to disappoint and win less than 10 games, I think it's so.
Right.
Yeah.
But then, then again, I mean, who knows? Who knows? Like that's who knows? That's what I think. But like, I'm sitting here thinking about it. Like, dang, what if Ty Simpson's not good? Like,
right.
Yeah.
So many questions.
I think we're in for a wild season.
Yeah, I think we are too. Again, I think it's going to be more of the same. Like, because it's interesting. Like when you try to make predictions, if you go like too far into left field, people are going to be like, this dude's just crazy. Like, he's just making picks, no rhyme or reason. Like, but what if I would have picked Bama to lose to Vandy in the preseason? Everybody be like, this dude is high.
Yeah.
Like, he is like, he's like, I can't even take this guy seriously. You know what? That's kind of the funny thing. Again, just pick what you pick and stick behind. I'm a big believer in that. I don't care, like whatever. But it is funny, like in the sports media world, like if you make an outrageous pick like that, even if you get it right, there's not a lot of like glory post pick. Yeah. Everybody loves to crap on you for a cold take. No, I don't. Is there a flaming hot take account? I don't think you get a lot of credit for like calling it. The one where I did get credit, I will say, from Georgia people, when I picked Georgia to beat Texas in the SEC title,
Mm-hmm.
and I had some choice words talking about Kirby Smart. I was like, it's still Kirby mother effing Smart. Like I'm riding with Kirby. I believe in him. A lot of Georgia fans came back after the fact and were like, hell yeah, you got it. Because I think I was pretty close on the score pick too. But yeah, I mean, it's just you try to make upset picks, and sometimes, man, I think you just kind of, why'd you pick that as an upset? Like, I don't know, man. I think college football is unpredictable.
Yeah.
I didn't think Oklahoma was going to beat Bama. I didn't think Vandy was going to beat Bama. I didn't think, yeah, there's just it's just hard to, it's hard to, who knows? It's just, we've got so much parity, so many unknowns. Yeah, I don't think anything's off the table.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, not a listener question, but I don't know. I know it's getting late, Chris. I don't know if you got time for one more.
No, I don't have a hard out. I'm good. Yeah, I'm
So,
good.
John, maybe like your usual question, but we can tailor it a bit for Chris.
Yeah, I guess normally we would ask like what's your Georgia story, but I guess what's your SEC story, Jim? I don't know how to phrase that question.
Yeah, I guess so. If we have like a Georgia fan
Like
on
a
or something, yeah, like what's your story? Like what got what you do it? So I mean, could be
Well,
a school, could
I
be a
have a
team,
very,
could
oh
be
yeah,
just a college football in general.
yeah, I have a very interesting fandom story for you all. There's parts of this story I can share more so in detail off the air.
Okay.
I was born and raised a South Carolina fan. My grandfather was the one that got me into it. I was around 11 or 12 when it really clicked, like how amazing college football was and how life or death it was. That was like beginning of 2003. So like the '03 season was the first season where I really remember like investing and like understanding what it all means, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, born and raised a South Carolina Gamecock fan. Again, I'm from South Carolina. Diehard as it gets. Like I mentioned, I was at the '07 South Carolina Georgia game. I was at the '06 South Carolina Georgia game. I would watch every game in the garage of my grandfather. That was just like our thing we did. We went to a few, but we would essentially watch every single game in the garage. He passed in 2014, but I went off to college and we'd still I'd come home, we watch games together, whatever. For those that don't know, SEC Unfiltered at one point was a South Carolina Gamecocks entity. It was called the Spurs Up Show. That's how it started in January 2017. And started it from zero. Again, the accounts, everything you see, it was once, believe it or not, it was once South Carolina. Anyways, started January 2017. Thankfully, just decided to never shut up, and it kept growing and growing, and we kept building. And I got the LLC in November of 2018, moved to Columbia, South Carolina to do it full-time in August of 2019. And so, again, you probably wonder, how are we sitting here today? So my fandom origin story, really, I'll just say this without getting into too great of detail. When you get into business, especially when you're an independent, no doubt, when you see how the sauce is made and you deal with the university, right? When you deal with the university in business matters, it really will kill your fandom. There's no other way to put it. To a point to where, and I'm glad you guys didn't do this. I appreciate it. And I mean, it's no fault of anybody else's, but people just, they bring me on and they're like, "Hey, you're a South Carolina guy. They're your Gamecocks." And I mean, guys, I'm genuinely, I'm as neutral as it gets these days. I am. I hope everybody does well. I want the SEC to get the most amount of teams to the playoff. But I'm not a South Carolina fan anymore. There's not an ounce of me in my body. I wish the best for South Carolina. Hope they do well. I got a lot of buddies, obviously. They're big Gamecock fans. But, again, when you deal with stuff on the business side and you see how the sauce is made, and there's just things I dealt with them from the way I was treated by the university. I dealt with legal matters with them. They essentially – my greatest opposition, and I know I told you this is a pretty wild story, but my greatest opposition in my ascension throughout my career when I was a South Carolina entity was the University of South Carolina. They at multiple stops throughout my entire career, they did what they could to put me out of business. They really wanted me to go away. They wanted me to not exist. And I think the reasoning for that was, number one, I was the same insufferable SOB that I am today. I'm just giving honest opinions. And, when you're covering a team, guys, let's call it for what it is. It's not very good. And you have to be brutally honest about that. I was covering South Carolina when everybody's buddy Will Muschamp was the head coach, and we all know how that tenure went, right? Like the commentary's not quote unquote not positive,
right?
But it was always fair. But they didn't like that.
They're like, come on, Chris, stop inciting violence.
Right. They didn't like that. They didn't like that. So I dealt with that. I dealt with people on the football staff. This happened on like a couple of different instances. Would go on social media trying to dog me and talk crap about me and encouraging fans of said team to turn against me, not like me. I dealt with it from that angle. I don't really bring up the bad side of the fan base, although the nasty side of South Carolina's fan base is probably the nastiest group of human beings I've ever dealt with, truly. Really, truly. Like to levels you just wouldn't imagine. I don't really bring that up because every fan base has
we've all got them.
Everybody's got them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Everybody's got them. The good news now, I don't deal with them.
A lot of them didn't even go to your school.
Yeah, I did deal with Vol Twitter during baseball season. That was a wild experience. That is a different.
Yeah.
But I don't have
Vol
to.
Twitter is unique.
Yeah, it is. But thankfully I don't deal with that as much anymore because, like, again, it doesn't hit the same when the SEC guys saying, "Hey, you're going to go 9-3." Like if a Georgia show came out and was like, "Yeah, guys, I think we're going to go 9-3," they'd be like, they wouldn't let him back in Athens ever again. Like it hits different when it be your own people. But yeah, so just dealing with all that over the years, and then there was end of 2022, there was how do I want to phrase this? There was a dispute that was amicably resolved between the University of South Carolina. It's actually well documented. I'm sure I could just say it on air, but I'm not going to. But it's public information. It's public information. It's nothing bad. Like when I say stuff, we used to sell merchandise at a very high level, and I'll just say that I owned a certain trademark that the University of South Carolina was not very pleased that I owned it, but it was tough because I owned it. But that turned into a 1.5 year long back and forth, if you will. Again, amicably resolved and whatever. But again, I say all that to say, guys, when you go through all that, it completely separates fandom and business to a point where, like I said, it really genuinely, it killed my fandom. That's kind of sad in a way because, but it's also, they did me the biggest favor because they removed any ounce of bias I could ever have. I genuinely don't have any bias whatsoever. That's such an advantage for us because I can talk about every single team fairly. You tune into my content, you have no clue. I don't know who this guy's a fan of. I don't know if he's even got a team.
Yeah.
And then I can go on the road and I can, people are so, dude, they are so blinded by their biases. People just, you can't even have there's some Tennessee fans. They couldn't even have a conversation with them. They couldn't. They're that brainwashed to a degree. Hey, there's some Georgia fans like that. Let's keep it fair, right?
Oh, yeah.
Every fan base got them, but it removed that for me to where I can go to all these different places, and when I did a really good job last season, and I'll continue to do it. I'm not going on the road and comparing this stadium and this experience to what last week was. I'm not going man, this place is a dump compared to Sanford Stadium or compared to Death Valley or I'm not doing that. I'm just really genuinely appreciating every spot, every team, every culture because they're all different, every fan base. Just really appreciating it all for what it is, man. And it is so much more rewarding that way. It really truly is. I'm having more fun than I've ever had. I'm more fulfilled than I've ever been. I'm happier than I've ever been. Like I said, I'm doing cooler stuff than I've ever done. And I tell people this, I'm having 1,000 times more fun, and I'm dealing with 1,000 times less of the headache that I used to put up with. And that's a blessing. So
yeah,
everything happened as it was supposed to. And by the way, I do want to throw this out there. We rebranded, relaunched December of 2023 to SEC Unfiltered. It was always an idea that I had. I just knew as an entrepreneur, I have entrepreneurial goals. Hey, if you want to really grow and expand, covering one team is going to be and especially a team it's not like covering Georgia who goes to national championships and wins at a high level. You're going to have to scale. So I make sure to tell people too, everything I just mentioned to you all was not the reason that SEC Unfiltered was born. This was in the works. This was spinning in my mind for a while. But, I'd be lying to you if I told you that, stars align and I think doors open at certain times. And, I remember thinking to myself, I was waiting on a signal or a sign that when was the right time to make a move like that. And, one thing led to another, and here we are. So, like I said, I'm grateful for it. Wouldn't change a thing about it. So that's my origin story. That's my fandom. I probably have the most unique fandom origin story of anybody. Of anybody. So
that's honestly that's why we always like to ask that, because everyone has a different story.
It's so funny, man. Like as a youngster, I'll just tell y'all this because it's funny now. Dude, when I was in like middle school, like I hated Georgia. Because you're a South.
It looks like you hate South Carolina. It looks like you hate Clemson a little bit more if you look behind your head there.
Oh,
the there's a logo. There's one logo there.
the loser sticker. No, but it was like I hated Georgia because I had it's funny. He's a really good friend of mine. And he ended up working for Georgia. He worked like in recruiting or whatever, and I actually linked up with him at the tailgate last year. We were laughing about it because we were kids, and I was a South Carolina fan, and I grew up in North Augusta, South Carolina, like on the border right there on the South Carolina side, Augusta on the other side. So like we'd go to church in Georgia. So I was surrounded by a lot of Georgia people, Clemson too, but a lot of Georgia people, and dealing with the dogs when you're losing to them was not quite especially like I said, as a kid, you take it so serious. But I got all the fan bases are great. I mean, I got nothing but love for all of them. Georgia certainly, it's been really awesome. The way that they've embraced us and embraced me, and like I said, I can't say enough good things about. And it's funny, man. Like I cross paths. I've known John for a good little bit, a couple years. It was so cool, man. Like I think the first time I met John in person, if I recall correctly, was actually last year in Tuscaloosa. And that's when I met Dwight. Like that has truly been the most rewarding part of the SEC Unfiltered journey is all of the fantastic folks I've met and the relationships I've created that will last a lifetime. And that's what even makes the tour cooler this year. Is like, last year I was just kind of getting my feet wet and I really, I didn't have all these relationships. Now I get to go on the road. Like we have all these relationships and connections established. And that's just going to make it so like even more fun than it was last year. So not that I'm comparing the two, because I've hammered that down too. And we're not going to go on the tour being like, how is this comparing to last year? It's its own unique journey. Can't wait to experience it. But yeah, it's really appreciate the dog fans and the way they've embraced us. And it's really cool, man. It's again, why I can't wait to get back to Athens.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's cool. I love it. It definitely can confirm it. It's awesome to get out there and meet the people that you've made this connection with through the microphone, through online, and getting to.
Hopefully, we're able to link up. Hopefully, this time y'all won't miss me at the Morris Hall tailgate.
That's right.
For sure.
Awesome. JP, you got anything else?
I got nothing, man.
Chris, this has been fun. Fun. Definitely appreciate you agreeing to come on. I know we kind of took a shot in the dark. Like, yeah, man, let's talk.
Dude, man,
exactly. You'd be surprised how often don't get responses. So we were like, oh, sweet.
No, dude, anytime. I'm grateful for the opportunity, and especially, man, like I said, I talked to my guy Dwight, and I feel like this show got the Morris Hall seal of approval. Yeah, that alone makes this podcast stand out above the rest. So, like, dude, anytime though, man, truly would love to do it again, especially if y'all want to chat like the week we're coming to Athens or just whenever else, man. Like, would love to do it, dude. It's thank God football's here, so we can smell it, we can taste it. It's so close. So,
amen.
Absolutely, amen to that.
All right, Chris. Well, hey, don't be a stranger, and we'll stay in touch. Best of luck, everyone. Go check out SEC Unfiltered, and be sure to follow along with the tour again this year.
Thank y'all, guys. I appreciate it.
All right. Hey, well, we got to say, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Sick 'em.
There we go.
There we go.